Hello and welcome to Unsolved Kent, a mini-series surrounding strange murders and mysteries in our lovely part of the world. In the Garden of England, I will explore and get to the bottom of these mysteries. I'm Sonia Roseman, an actress from Rochester. I was born and bred here. I went to college and I did performing arts, and after that I went to the University of Canterbury where I did drama and film. I've loved Marilyn Monroe my whole life. She was the world's most famous blonde. Was she murdered or was it suicide? We love a conspiracy, right? Her flame went out when she was just 36 years old, but somebody more local, an enigma, remains very, very close to my heart indeed. Again, conspiracy theories have raged on. When I was just a little girl, there was a Marilyn Monroe impersonator, Kay Kent. She was beautiful, and so much like the real Marilyn, I was fascinated by her. And the way that she passed was strangely and tragically would emulate Marilyn. I will give you all the facts on Medway's Marilyn, Kay Kent. Kay Kent was born in Victoria Road, Chatham, on November the 6th, 1963. Her childhood was quite normal, and she was the average girl with brown hair. As she grew, people would remark how much that she looked like Marilyn Monroe. Marilyn was found dead at her villa in LA in August 1962. Arguments have raged ever since as to how she died. Was it murder or was it suicide? As Kay grew up, she realised that she wanted to be a model. She did a few shoots to get her profile together, and her fascination with Monroe grew, and one day in 1983 she decided to dye her hair blonde. Almost immediately she was taken on by the Lookalikes agency in London. Work started to pour in and her career started to take off. She lived as a mirror of Marilyn. She studied her voice and learned how to speak just like her. She was cast in several pop music videos, including Def Leppard, and did men's magazine Penthouse, the British version of Playboy. She also went on to do the Holston Pills advert. She paid £2,000 to have her breast augmented so that she could have the same 38-inch bust as Marilyn. In early 1989, her mum died of cancer, and her relationship with her on and off boyfriend, Dean Hammond, was starting to fall apart. In the early weeks of June 1989, Kay became very, very depressed. She had just recorded My Heart Belongs to Terry, a version of the Monroe hit My Heart Belongs to Daddy, with a 15-piece orchestra for her commercials for Terry's Chocolate Orange. She was in the press constantly and doing personal appearances as Marilyn. Her career was really starting to take off. She is quoted as saying, "By taking on Marilyn's appearance, it's almost as though I inherited her troubles." Not everyone was happy for Kay, the local Chatham girl that was actually starting to get somewhere. Somebody sent a wreath to her Luton home with a note saying, "There is only one Marilyn." Just after her mum passed away in February 1989, Kay and her brother went to their mother's grave, and Kay said jokingly, "I'll be in there next." Jay thought to himself, okay, in the next 15 years or so. Kay had been very close to her mother, and her mother was her #1 fan. Diary entries were filled with praise for her daughter and if she had called that day or if she was going round to see her. In 1987, Kay had lost her father also, and to top it all off, the on and off boyfriend had left her for a 16-year-old singer. Kay was distraught, and her mother's cancer medication was in the building. In her anguish, Kay took an overdose of the cancer medication that her mother had left. The following morning, her brother found her naked in her bed, surrounded by pills and half a bottle of vodka. Kay was just 25 years old, and next to her was a card from the middle of a packet of tights. On it was scrawled a note to a former boyfriend. It said, "Dean, I love you very much." There was a media frenzy about her suicide, and her loved ones were being bombarded by the press, and journalists even managed to get into her home and take pictures in her bedroom of her death scene. brother is quoted as saying, "The press would not leave us alone, so we had no time to grieve. You couldn't even move outside the house because of all of the press." Then there are the rumours that she was actually murdered, as Kay was to give evidence at a trial that was coming up. Jay, her brother, would like everybody to know that she was not murdered. It was suicide because he found her body. And that special thing that famous people have, she had oceans of it. It's such a shame that she never got to have children or to grow old. But it seems to me that the most famous, beautiful women seem to have a lonely, destructive and tragic side. Anna Nicole Smith, for instance, died from a drug overdose. Maybe it's the price for emulating the world's most famous movie star. And the price is the ultimate price to pay. Kay is buried with her mother in an unmarked grave in a cemetery in Chatham. So the conclusion to this episode of Unsolved Kent? Suicide. Solved.